Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two Kentucky scratch that. We have two Kentucky bourbon whiskey products, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. Moisturize the cork. Here is Daviess County, Kentucky sour mash straight bourbon whiskey, 96 proof. This one is double mash build, which means it has a high rye mash bill bourbon blended with a wheated bourbon. So take two different 4 or longer aged bourbons, blend them together, and bottle it for Lux Row Distillers. Now I know that's what they do because there's a video that they have on YouTube, Lux Row Distillers web page, their account, and they talk about how that's what they are. They say at least 4 years, but it probably means it's 4 years. And it runs about $38 a bottle, maybe 40. Now here is Royal. Kentucky bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. Oh, there's a crown above the Royal. My friend David said, you see what they're trying to do? Crown Royal. I said, I don't think anybody's going to fall for that. Crown above Royal. Finest quality. Oh, don't you love these really super cheap products? And they always say premium, best quality, dedicated to quality, finest quality. And it was $7.99. So it's hard to imagine this could be the finest quality. And it was $7.99 at Ralston Liquors in Houston, Texas. But it was, and it was so bizarre looking that I bought it. I said, what is this oddball thing? So I couldn't resist. All right. Did I think it was going to be really great? No. Did I think it would probably be tolerable? Yeah. Is this something that I recommend you go track down? Clearly not. But for that price, yeah, it's worth buying. I mean, $7.99. What's the risk factor? People pay that to go get something at Burger King. So, yeah. When I see these oddities, I pick them up. Plastic foil cap cover. There you're going to see the real cork. It's so tight, splash in my face. There's the real cork. Okay. So is it going to be $30 better? Yeah, probably so. I'll be surprised if this wasn't actually $30 better. So, but I do blind taste test for a reason. That's so I can get it right, or try to get it right and not be biased, because it's easy to say it, but then let's see if we can demonstrate it. Beautiful plastic twist cap. All right, enough kidding around. All right, but I have a tendency to do that. Heaven Hill calls it what it is. Distilled Spirit Specialty, DSS, Distilled Spirit Specialty, and they have it listed under their blended whiskeys. Well, it probably is a blended whiskey in a technical sense because there's probably different bourbons blended together and then enhanced with natural flavors. It says Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Now, we do know that the bourbons all must come from Kentucky. If it says Kentucky bourbon, okay? Now, if it just says like a Royal Bourbon, and then on the bottom it says bottled in Kentucky, well, that means the whiskeys are almost surely coming out of state and mixed with in-state bourbons. But this one says clearly Kentucky bourbon. So if you read your regulations, if it says that, it all must be from Kentucky. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be good because the U.S. government doesn't really regulate that. Okay, there's no definition of good because good is dependent on the person drinking it, right? Just like the U.S. government doesn't use the word junk food. They say that's just a popular literature term. It doesn't mean anything. We have the food pyramid, or they used to call it the 4 food groups. you should follow it, and then there wouldn't really be a junk food issue, which I agree with more or less. Of course, that's the same government that 40 to 50 years ago was pushing people to eat margarine and to avoid butter, and then pushing these other health uh, regulations onto people, even up to 2 years ago, or even last year when the Supreme Court overruled that tyranny, that communistic plot. But so yeah, the U.S. government is like all of these other governments around the world. A lot of what they say is true, and a lot of what they say is not true. And a lot of times they're lying, and other times they just don't know what they're talking about. They're not specifically lying. They're just, they try to pretend like they're experts and they're not, or sometimes they even tell the truth, believe it or not. All right. So Royal, it's got a little tactile label, like you could feel the little rumples on it, kind of make it look nice. As cheap as it is, it has at least they were consistent. They gave it a royal blue application. They could have used some other blue incorrectly. They did use royal blue, so that's kind of nice. We know it's all whiskey, though. Now, some people might say, oh, no, that's got grain spirits. That's brown vodka, as they call it, which it shows their ignorance, because that's not what a blended whiskey is, not brown vodka. Neutral grain spirits are not even vodka. Although neutral grain spirits and vodka are made from the same base, or can be made from the same base, I should say. All right, that's light amber. And that is just straight up amber. They're both clear, so that won't be an issue. No, I know it's not using grain neutral spirits because it has no commodity statement. And I was reading about that on the Tax and Trade Bureau Handbook of Distilled Beverages day before yesterday. If you add grain spirits to a whiskey, which is fine, you can do it up to 80% if you want. For blended whiskey, yeah, you can actually go above 80%. It'll just be called spirit whiskey. It's a name for it. It's called spirit whiskey. It's an actual legal type of whiskey. I didn't say it was good. I say it's legal. Southern Comfort uses spirit whiskey, which is over 80% grain spirits and less than 80% straight whiskey, but it's allowed. Okay. However, this is an important however, if you use grain spirits from 1% up to 80%, or if you're making blended bourbon is a specific class of whiskey. You can't go above 49%, can't go above 49%. Like with tequila, you can't go above 49% filler. It has to be at least 51% Blue Weber agave. But so fine, you want to use grain spirits unaged, no big deal, but you got to put a commodity statement. That's what it says on there. It's a required listing on the label. It's got to be a commodity statement, which means and they even show you how to write it. Blank percent grain neutral spirits. It even shows you how to write it and to describe it. Blended whiskey, or you can call it whiskey a blend. Well, this doesn't say that. It doesn't say blended whiskey or whiskey a blend. No, it says bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. And you say, aha, I got you there. I caught you, because if you read the regulations further, it's illegal to add flavoring or coloring to bourbon. That's right. But that bottle says bourbon with natural flavors, correct? Right. But it's not a bourbon. It's a bourbon with natural flavors. If you ask that company, is that a bourbon? They'd say, absolutely not. It's a bourbon with natural flavors. It's a distilled spirit specialty, which means a class of liquor that doesn't fit any class, any official class. So you might be saying, well, that means you could do anything. Right. That's right. Just call it a DSS, distilled spirit specialty, and you got it. As long as you label stuff correctly, you got a lot of latitude. All right, but anyway, moving on. But it is all bourbon. It's just with natural flavor. Now I know it's like you just bring up all these like ridiculous, sort of ridiculous technical details. No one cares about all that. It's just bourbon with natural flavors. That's what the common person is going to call it. Is that's right. That is what the common person is going to call it. This smells so neutral. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, it's like there's no character to it. There's like a little sweetness and maybe corn, but there is mostly nothing. This has a little more cachet. No, cachet is not the right word. Cachet is like the impression or the perception of the product. Never mind. Oh, I mean, it has more character, more, but it's not like loaded with aromatics though. I think this is the Davies, but it's not running away with the show on aromatics. So both of these are kind of like denuded or de devoid in a way of aromatics. But that's all right. We drinking it. I mean, I wouldn't drink whiskey at 5 something in the morning. I mean, we tasting it. I could do a tasting. Wouldn't think of drinking it. I mean, that's ridiculous. Let's be sensible about it, of course. Chuz. All right. Well, 96 proof versus 80 proof. Woo, that's 8% difference in alcohol. 16 proof, you see. Uh, what do you know? All right. This is the Daviess County. Got it. Didn't need to hesitate there. It's got more flavor. It's just that's just the case. Jack the Beanstalk says, "What up? My favorite review is Camo Black Ice." Yeah, that was now see that wasn't a situation like this. I was saying that last night. Like whiskey, you don't find any bad whiskeys. You just it's just like the real cheap ones just they don't have any flavor. They're just bland. They're so washed out. It's like you're drinking just a spirit. It's 40% alcohol. You could feel that, but the flavor is just dead. Fine. But the things like Camo Black Ice or Camo 4X, those are definitively bad. Like it has flavor. You can't chide it on that. You can't say, oh, Camo beers, they got no flavor. No, they do have flavor. That's the problem. Because the flavors are horrendous. It's 10% alcohol, 12% in some cases, whatever it was. The flavor is so bad that you would pray that it did not have flavor. All right. And some of those real cheap beers, they got flavor, okay, but you never want to taste it. Okay. Now I was impressed with the Stack High Gravity, 9%. I think it used to be 10. I really do believe it was 10, but maybe it was 9 in my memories because it was 2009 when I tried it first time in Beaumont. I picked it up in Beaumont, Texas. Still pretty strong, 9%. A 9% lager, and first time I had it, I couldn't quite finish it. I dumped it out. Some of it I dumped it out. I was like, I can't do it. I got a bad feeling about it. I mean, I drank 85 to 90% of it, but I just like, This time when I was in Alaska, I bought it in Alaska at Juneau Liquors. I think it's called Juneau Liquors on Fairbanks, not Fair, Fremont Street, whatever that main street is downtown. It's like the main street. All stores and everything on it. Nice liquor store, not amazing, but nice. It was a nice store, and the prices weren't so bad. I kept hearing Alaska, the prices are so bad. Well, they were bad, but they weren't so bad. Like people were touting, like if you went to a Mexican restaurant, it would be like $50 to eat a regular meal. That over here would be like 15. But no, it was like over here it's 15, and over there it was like 18 or 19. It wasn't that way difference. that big, milk here be like $3.45. Over there it'd be like maybe $5.45. Well, still, it's going to add up. You're gonna lose money over there, but then their salaries might be higher. And it probably evens out. But anyway, I went to that liquor store and they had the stack. They had it at a few stores, and I was like, "Yes, that's the non-flavors, no flavors added." Same thing with Camel; they don't have flavoring added. You wish they would. And I drank that stack sitting on the back. I'll say a gazebo. Gazebo. Uh, and I was impressed. I was like, just goes to show you a company can improve. They can improve. Don't mean they will, but they can. And the stack was all right. And I did drink it all, and I didn't have trouble drinking it. Now, it was 24 ounces or 23 and a half, 20. I think it was 24 ounces of 9%. So you wanted to be real careful, and I was careful with it. But didn't feel sick or anything. It was a mighty good product. I mean, mighty good considering all things. I'm not saying it's mighty good on its own merits, but just mighty good, all things considered. Okay. Daviess County. It's got a rich flavor, a sweet corn flavor, honeysuckle nectar. There is some like dried fruitcake fruit. We talked about that in the past. Not the kind that's in that Mylar bag. They're like shrink wrap. They're like dehydrated. Not actual like succulent fruit that's fresh. Could be some honey, vanilla. Okay, so you're getting all the goodies in Daviess County, all the niceties, and you get 96 proof if that's your bag. It's not my bag, really. I just soon drink an 80 proof bourbon. But other people are into the high proof. I'm not. I'm just being honest. If I was into high proof, I would say it all the time. Hey, I'm into high proof, but I'm not. I'm more into low proof, preferably the lowest allowed proof, 80. Okay, but everyone has their preferences, I do believe. But this is good, and for $38, yeah, go ahead. 40. For 40, you might want to think about it. Could shop around, you might find it cheaper. But in my case, I paid $14.99. This is, in fact, what happened. I got this for $14.99, and I am not kidding around. And I jumped on that in a hot second, and it has been a great find. $14.99 all day long. Now, but we can't use that price in this comparison because that's not a real world price, except in my little peculiar world of Louisiana, where we get these bizarre liquor prices, like a liter. Yeah, you heard me right. A liter of Captain Morgan sliced apple liqueur rum, apple flavored rum, for $3.99 a liter. Now everybody else got the regular bottles for $20, $19.99 low end, 20 something. Here I am getting a liter for $3.99. I don't ask when I go in the store and they got it for that. I don't say, well, are you sure this is the right price? Maybe you coded it wrong. I just buy it and get out the store. And they did code it right. I know you got some kind of deal. When I went to Total Wine and More last year, 2 years ago, yeah, during the scamdemic, which they're trying to bring back these common. I said $8.99 for the Estate Diamond. Now, mind you, blackstrap molasses rum from Cruzan. I said there is no way Cruzan Estate Diamond blackstrap molasses should be $8.99. Maybe $18.99 if you're lucky, and probably more like $28.99. But here they got it for $8.99. And I said, I got to go ride to Total Wine. I got to do something else today in Metairie. Let me go check it out. I know it's going to be wrong on the shelf. It's just something wrong with their website. So I drove over there. Sure enough, on the shelf, they had 2 bottles left, $8.99. I said, watch, it's going to ring up wrong. It rang up $8.99. I said, oh, this is crazy. but it was a good kind of crazy. Now, a month later, the price tripled or whatever, I was like, uh-huh. They realized, or the computers did realize, I don't know what happened, but it was crazy and beneficial to me. If one should say buying a bunch of liquor is beneficial, but this is a wonderful flavor. I'm telling you, is this the best bourbon I've got? Um, Probably so. Probably is. And I'm not sitting here talking about I got great bourbons in this house. I don't. But it is probably the best of what I've got. I'm talking about the ones I've opened. I can't speak for the ones I have never tried because that wouldn't make any sense, would it? I'm going to talk about a bourbon I haven't tried and tell you how good it is. No, that's not going to happen. That can't happen. So Daviess County has been doing a great job. The only problem is it is a little on the high side, $38 to $40. So that could discourage a person, and I can understand that. But okay, now getting to this Desperado here, Royal, and they got it on Specs website. Specs is a big liquor chain in Texas, sort of like Total Wine and More. I guess Specs didn't appreciate Total Wine coming into their state, but there they are competing with them. They have this on their website, and it's cheap. I think they have mostly handles, the big bottles, but it's like $14.99, $15.99, something like that. 8 plus 8 is 16. Minus 2 cents, $15.98. Why would you pay? Why would you want to pay $15.98 for a bottle like this when you can get a handle for $1 more and you're getting 1,000 extra milliliters? Okay, I mean, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing, except that I only saw those at Ralston Liquors, and that's enough. I mean, I think this is enough Royal for me. But let's taste it. Let's say, would it be worth buying? You see, it's got that kind of funny, bunny, silly Billy, Heaven Hill honeydew melon thing going. I used to think that was from the grain spirits. Now I'm starting to think there's something with their barrels or some kind of mold issue over there. I think it's coming from their straight bourbons. No, I'm not even joking about that. Honeysuckle. No, honeydew melon. That's right, honeydew. A, why would a bourbon taste like a melon? And B, why would it taste like a honeydew melon? This I cannot explain. But I've tried T.W. Samuels. I tried Kentucky Gold. I tried Kentucky Bow from Heaven Hill. All blended whiskeys. 80-20 blend, I believe all of them are. Age 3, sometimes 4 years. There's a fourth one. I know I'm missing it. And now I'm trying this one, which is all bourbon, no filler. But notice I didn't say all good bourbon. I say bourbon. And it's got that same weirdness. Now, my theory with this product is they're taking really inferior batches of their name brand bourbons. You know what they are, or maybe you don't. Evan Williams is a famous one from them. I think Cabin Still is one. It's cheaper, but it's kind of famous. Fighting Cock, the famous one. Elijah Craig, Old Fitzgerald. You can sit here and name all day. They make so many straight bourbons, it's crazy. Of course, Evan Williams and Elijah Craig and Old Fitzgerald, they're biggies. They're biggies. But like they'll tell you on the website, if you read these companies' website, they'll tell you that every barrel does not come out right. They don't even know all the factors. Like they just thinking maybe it got too hot, maybe it got too cold, maybe something was wrong with that wood. We don't know. Or the yeast, or who knows what. But it doesn't taste right to our experts' taste. Now, the common man on the street may not catch it. They might just say, "Woo, Evan Williams, baby, we tubing down the river, we down the Tangipahoa River having a good time." Well, fine, all right. But if somebody sits down and really thinks about it, they might notice some problem with it. So they don't sell it, but they just they probably dump it in this big vat of you know how people do with it. They got leftover bourbon, they dump it all together in a decanter and drink it later and see how it tastes. I see people doing that on the internet. That's what they probably do. And then when they get enough of it, they say, okay, time for some more Royal. Bring it down to 80 proof, which is easily done with tap water. They got gauges that track it, ding, 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 80 proof. It's already been, all of them already done age 4 years. We know it has to be at least 4 years old, no age statement. Sell the trash to the bums. Now that sounds crass, doesn't it? Sell the trash to the bums. But you know, and I know what we're dealing with. Okay, I mean, we could dance around it, act all like, you know, we're addressing everything in a very scientific manner. You see, this channel is a serious channel, and it is, but we also know what we're dealing with. It's like if I review Mogan David 2020, MD 2020, I'm not fooling myself. I'm not unaware of what I'm dealing with. And I know who it's marketed to, or who. Okay, let me be fair. The companies are going to say we don't market it to that segment of the population. We can't help who buys it. Okay, I get that. All right. But we know who's attracted to it. Go to any bus station, any train station, any inner city. Well, go now to San Francisco on any downtown street, which is vacant of actual shoppers and regular citizens, is taken over by vagrants. And they're not drinking Dom Perignon. They're not drinking Corbel XO. No, they're drinking MD 2020 and maybe Royal. And I don't feel so bad about that situation, because you got all of these big corporations that are like, you know, we're down with the social revolution, you know, these lives matter, and this virtue signaling. And so they go along with all of this, and then they help these treacherous people get elected to city government. And these are the people that encourage the vagrants to take over downtown. And now, and the petty thievery, or sometimes grand larceny, but they take over downtown. And then they'll say, oh, no one's shopping at our very expensive store. Half of our office building space is empty. Well, yeah, you voted for this. You voted for the poison, which is poisoning you. And you supported it through campaign and funding. So now you're being poisoned by the poison you helped manufacture. So I can't really take too much, can't really give too much sympathy to these people. I don't know why they thought getting in league with the sinister side was going to help them, and it may have short term, but now the blowback is coming and they're dealing with it. So say cheers to their empty downtowns with the vagrants, who of course contribute nothing positive to the community. And the shoplifters, who contribute nothing to the, it's like roaches, you know, you say, well, you know, roaches are very, very useful. You know, not that you want to compare a human being to a roach, but, you know, in a practical sense, that's the outcome. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, a roach will never change. It's just what it is. But a human can change. They have free will. So a roach does not. So there, even with we talking about this reputable lifestyle, there is a scintilla, maybe not a good chance. There is a chance that the person could do like the wharf rat from the Grateful Dead, and what does he say in the song? Gonna rectify his life, something. I mean, when you listen to the song, you know he's not going to really, but he'll claim he is, you know. But he's gonna. But in the same song, he's gonna go get some Burgundy wine, you know. But yeah, but there is a chance that the human being could change. But what I mean is their impact on society is similar. meaning nothing positive, unless you call litter, graffiti, shoplifting, living in tents in the middle of the street and harassing people for money is a positive human contribution to the world. If you think that's true, then you're probably not a very smart person. Okay, because nobody, either if they were evil or good, would actually think that's true, just depending on their motives. Okay, so yeah, royal, like literally no royalty on the planet Earth drinks this, but it's not terrible. But on the other hand, I mean, why would you buy it? And if your answer is, well, you bought it, I know I bought it. I bought it for curiosity's sake. I didn't buy it because I actually thought it was going to be good. I bought it because I thought it was queer. It was strange. It was unusual. It was odd. And turns out it is. And I'm satisfied with it. If I pay $7.99 for something I perceive as strange and it turns out to be strange and low quality, I'm not angry about it because I knew what I was getting into. Okay. So this was no kind of real challenge. The next one coming up, yeah, we've got we got some real credible products. George Dickel Superior Number 12, Tennessee whiskey, bourbon, but they call it Tennessee whiskey. Doesn't say straight whiskey though, strangely. Then we got the Cascade Hollow Red Label, which they don't say Tennessee straight whiskey, just say whiskey. I don't get that, but I think I know why. But that's a credible product, and what a deal I got. $7.99 for a liter. You heard me right. I got a liter of that George Dickel Cascade Hollow for the same price as this thing. And then I have a few more like Bellows Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, aged 4 years. Nothing incredible, but decent enough. And I know there's one or two I'm overlooking, but then we'll wrap that up, and then it's on to American Blended Whiskey, for good or ill. Maybe ill, but for good or ill. And then it's on to Canada, and then so forth. All right, well, y'all take care now. Have a great Tuesday.